One of the best ways you can support the Bridgeton Beacon is to go to the Bridgeton Beacon YouTube channel and hit subscribe. When you hit subscribe, we're going to need you to also click the little bell icon so that you actually get alerts when we post new episodes. But this is a great way for you to support the Bridgeton Beacon in lieu of an actual donation or monetary support.
Welcome back to the Bridgeton Beacon. We are here on Alden Field, and it must be 80-some degrees at the end of October, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Gary Fischer. Gary, I want to say congratulations first.
Thank you so much.
For your being the recipient of the 2024 Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce Community Hero Award. So congrats.
Very nice, thank you.
And I figured we'd come out and you could tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me a little bit about your baseball career,
Sure.
The Invitational Tournament, which is really near and dear to my heart. I grew up right over on Lake Street, and I laid in bed in my house in Lake Street and could hear every summer this tournament coming over Jetty's Pond. So a lot of memories for me and a lot of memories for a lot of folks. And thanks to you, it's still going strong.
It is.
So, but you started here on these very fields as a baseball player.
I did.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so back in 1979 was my first year playing in this event. That carried on through 2015, so in essence, I played in this tournament 5 decades.
It's a long time.
I do hold the record for most games ever played. So it's quite a bit of accomplishment. Had an opportunity to play on 7 different teams. Won 2 championships here. So, you know, Bridgeton Invitational has been kind of the holy grail for me, so to speak. Always looked forward to it each and every year since the existence, and especially when I started playing, you know, couldn't wait to play. Basically.
What position?
I was pretty much a middle infielder and a pitcher here. Yep.
Okay.
Later in my career, I did a little bit of catching, but primarily I was a middle infielder pitcher.
And all that occurred out on this field, huh? Let's take a look. I'm just going to have you walk along with me, and you can show me these fields. Now, this is a grass field. Has it been the same ever since you've been playing?
Well, I can tell you this much. What I know from the past founders of this complex, it was built back in 1961-62, and it was specifically to host the 1962 Babe Ruth World Series, which they did, and it was very successful. Because of such a good turnout from the community. You know, Jerry Alden, who was the founder of this tournament, put the blueprint together to turn this tournament into one of the biggest events on the East Coast. The field was built for the dimensions of the Babe Ruth World Series, and as you see here, this still remains the same setup. Basically, over the years, there's been some renovations, field renovations. Of course, we do miss the old historical bleachers and the tower, press box tower they used to have, but I guess for safety reasons, they had to, take it down and put new style bleachers up.
My grandfather helped build those original bleachers.
Yes, there was a lot of volunteers, and of what I know, the volunteers did so much for this recreation.
It's a gorgeous field. I've never looked at it from this perspective.
Yeah, yes it is. It's one of the nicest fields. And again, as a player, I've played in quite a bit of tournaments throughout the country. I mean, I've played West Coast, I've played down south. This event here is just nothing like it. Not only from the baseball aspect, but just the atmosphere that goes on around it. There's very good support from the community. And then, special events we have outside. It creates a nice family atmosphere.
Any particular, I know you said you won a couple championships and you certainly played on, 7 teams?
7 different teams, yes.
When you think back over your career out on this field, give me 1 or 2 highlights that really stands out that you want to share with us.
Well, I'm going to go back to 1990, where at that time, there was 2 brackets in the tournament. And we were really an unknown team at the time. And we were able to win our bracket and get into the final round. I think that was a highlight because most of the guys on the team, including myself, were local born players. So
what team was that?
That was the over 30 All-Stars. It was an all-star team put together. And I think what it did was it really pulled the community together. And I distinctly remember on the finals night, this place was packed. I mean, there was people up and down the sidelines. Every seat in the bleachers was full. And to walk off that field that night as champions, it's something I won't forget.
So there came a point in time, well, before we get to that, you played in high school, right?
I did.
Sacred Heart?
Sacred Heart,
What
yeah.
year did you graduate?
79, yeah.
79,
yeah.
So you just kept going.
I did not stop. No, I continued. I was a 3-sport player growing up. I played football. I played midget football right here. And, when it came to high school and being recruited to go to Sacred Heart at the time as a prep school, they didn't have football. So I missed out. I really did like football. But, went into Sacred Heart and had a really nice baseball and basketball career. Yeah.
Excellent.
And then, of course, moved on to college.
Where'd you go to college?
York College, Southern Pennsylvania.
Did you play in college?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Played 4 years there, and I had a couple highlights in my career there as York as well. And then, from there, it was very hard. You always want to go to the next level, and, you always dream of playing at the pro level. And I was close. To getting that opportunity. But needless to say, just for the love of the game, I just kept on playing. And as I stand here right now, I'm still playing.
There you go. So let's talk about that. So you came back from college.
I did.
You began playing in this tournament.
I came back from college. Actually, 1979 was my first time playing in this tournament, so I had just graduated high school. So that first summer was the first time I played here.
So did you play in the tournaments all through college?
I did.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you really have been playing since you were...
Yeah, I continued to make the time out for this event.
So, fast forward a bunch of decades, and back in the day, the tournament was always in August.
Correct.
Okay, and there came a point in time, it's my understanding, where the future of the Bridgeton Invitational Tournament was uncertain. Is that fair to say?
I think that's a fair statement, yeah.
Okay, so how did you get involved on the other side of it?
Well, I remember it was the 50th year, and for the last time, young George...
Is that 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. 6 years, I'd say, because we just had the 56th. George Joyce came to me and said, Gary, we understand this could be it. Let's put a team together representing Joyce's Stars. Okay. So in fact we did. And then during that event, I remember Dave Elwell, who was at that time the commissioner. I was actually on deck getting ready to hit. And he came up to me along the fence line. He says, hey, when this is done, you and I need to sit down and talk. So that's kind of how the first connection started. I had no idea what he wanted to talk about. So after the event and the tournament was done, we spoke a little bit more in depth. He said he was stepping down, and he said all the fingers are pretty much pointing to you to keep this going.
Any hesitation to step up when asked?
No. I think at that time, as a player, I think I was ready. I think it was a good time for me.
Did you stop playing once you took over as director?
Yeah, because of the interference, so it just didn't match up right. So at that time, I think it was a good time for me. So I sat down with Dave and of course Mayor Kelly, and I offered my suggestions of something that I wanted to do, and really it was based on just how the tournament was going. From a player's perspective, and not seeing support in the stands, I thought it was time to if I'm going to do this, make this move now.
Tell us what you did.
And I did, but I did talk to some coaches that were previously entered teams in this tournament. I kind of picked their brain a little bit and see what they were going to offer to me, and they thought it was a good move. It was time to get it out of August and make that move, and I did. It took 2 years for that transition to happen, but I can honestly say I'm happy with my decision because the last 2 years have been very successful here.
It's a new tradition that people come to look forward to, and it.
Correct. I mean, it's the same tournament. The blueprint that was put together for this event in 1967, nothing's changed. I still keep the standards of what they put in place, other than the fact that I just moved it out of May, but everything else is the same.
Great. Highlights from this past year's tournament. How did it go? Yes,
very, very good. I mean, one thing that was also, and I forgot to mention, you can probably adjust that. When I made that change, it was based on not only, again, participation, but the leagues that used to send a team up in this event, they were folding. One was our own league, Salem County. That league folded. Atlantic County folded.
What do you attribute that to?
Just generations,
Okay.
just different times, I guess. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of work to go around and be in tournaments, I would imagine.
It is. And losing those particular legs put a hurting right here. Because, the community was looking forward to the Joyce's Stars, to the Seabrook Storms, teams from Atlantic County coming here, and the support was there. But now I think that was another decline because of support that, we don't have any local teams anymore. And that's very challenging.
Did moving it from August to May help with that in any way?
It did.
And why?
I'm going to say because of the few leagues that were still existing, and I only know that for a fact at that time because I was still playing in those leagues, they increased their league play, including playoffs, into August. So at that time, they're thinking, why are we going to leave our playoffs to take a team up to Bridgeton when we still have playoffs going on?
I
So
see.
that was another...
So it coincided with other tournaments?
Yes. Yeah. Well, not so much tournaments, their own league
Their
that
own
they
league,
play
okay.
in.
Got it.
And that was definitely a deciding factor. So then again, when I went back and talked to these coaches, the same ones who play through the summer, I said to them, what do you think about me taking this event and moving it to May? And it was a win-win for them.
Great.
It was like their spring training, basically, at this event.
Right, and it coincides really with the start of the national baseball season, which
Pretty much. Yeah,
get
pretty
people
much.
kind of psyched up for
Yep.
it and
Yep.
and all that.
And then the other deciding factor that was big is that we didn't have the volunteers that we used to. Basically, I'm down to 10. And when I decided to move it into May, they came to me and said, Gary, we can't do 3 weeks long of this event anymore. Can we shrink it down? So I was able to shrink it down to an 8-day window.
Okay, did it used to be like 3 weeks long?
It used to be 3 weeks long.
Oh, how about that?
And that was all volunteer, you know, all by the volunteers. So that was another deciding factor, that I shortened the tournament. It's a win-win for them.
Meaning the city?
The volunteers.
The volunteers,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And it's worked to this point.
So before we talk about highlights, there was one thing I wanted to ask you about, and I had spoken with somebody, Dave Hitchner, a couple years ago about the tournament, and there's two kind of unique rules to this tournament that I wanted to just touch upon because I just think it's neat. The speed clock.
Yes.
And is it the designated hitter?
Yep, still there.
Can you talk about both of those things and why they're important to this long-standing tournament here in Bridgeton?
Well, it's
Let's
unique.
walk so we're not in the
Yeah,
sun,
it's unique, right? This is the only tournament that I know that I've played in has such type of rules.
Tell me what they are for our listeners who may not know about them.
They are the speed up clock for the pitcher and for the pitcher. He has 20 seconds to deliver the pitch. Every pitch after that becomes 10 seconds. The batter on the offensive side has 10 seconds to get in the batter's box.
Okay, has that always been a rule in this tournament as far as you know?
Has always been the rule to this moment. Nothing's been doctored or anything's been adjusted. Of course, we have the designated hitter rule that was established in this event and used for so many years by the American League. Now it's been adapted to the National League as well. So the whole Major League Baseball uses the designated hitter.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but also has modified the rules recently as it relates to the time, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
They're following your lead, or our lead, I should say.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm proud to say because I play in a lot of tournaments, and you know, you meet new people, and they're like, "Where are you from?" And you know, talk about tournaments, and of course, I'm proud to say about the Bridgeton Invitational, and I put in those little digs like the designated hitter and the speed up clock. They're like, "No way!" So yeah, it's. Pretty proud of that.
Sure. And there's been a lot of neat folks that have come from out of the area over the years.
Yes.
To visit this tournament. So
yes.
it's really kind of neat.
Yeah.
Highlights from this past year's tournament, and or highlights of this coming year's tournament in May. Anything you want to share, or not quite ready to do that?
Well, no, I will say this. The last 2 years, the competition has been very, very strong for this event. I will say that each year from the last two, there's always been a new entry coming in. So that's very positive and promising. I had a team from New York 2 years ago come down here. We haven't had a New York team down in this event for quite some time. And this was they came all the way from Buffalo, New York to come down here.
Anybody who went pro ever playing this tournament over the years that you know of, or no?
Yes. There's been numerous players in this event. I can think back from, Randall Byers from Cumberland Regional. Went on to play professional baseball. Of course, I don't know if you know, and I'm proud to say, but my youngest son, Darren, played professional ball for Tampa Bay Rays.
Congratulations.
So I had an opportunity to play here as well. So, I'm going to say through the years, especially myself as a player, you're running into a couple ex-professional players that have played. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Do you miss playing at all?
Well, I miss playing in this event because again, I'm still playing. I travel Again, next week I'm leaving to go play down in Fort Myers, so I'm still at it. I'm playing in the summer, and I travel to tournaments.
Tell me about the league you're playing in now.
The league is what they call men's senior baseball league.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yes, and it's nationwide. It's very big. I can only tell you, I'll be down there next Friday, and I'll play from Friday to the following Saturday. And there is 85 teams in this event.
And where is this held?
Fort Myers, Florida.
Fort Myers, okay.
So with the use of the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox complexes.
That's awesome.
So that's a real treat, right? You have an opportunity to play.
My producer's down there. I'll get him to come over and get some footage of you.
Yeah. So you have an opportunity to play on professional fields. I think that's a highlight down there. But I'm going to be partial. Nothing's like this event here. It just
What's
again,
the difference?
I think it's just, you know, how the event was put together. Not only on the field, but I'm going to say that all the activities that go outside the field. And that's real important. A lot of community support, fan support. We have special guests, Philly Fanatic. We've done firework night. So I think that right there, it's a big sell for them.
So it's the community and the fans.
I think so, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Thanks to you, it's still going on, it's still going strong.
Yes.
And I can see why you are the well-deserved recipient of a Community Hero Award from the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on,
yes.
And we'll look for you out on the field.
Yep. You
Thanks,
might have to ad-lib that.
One of the best ways you can support the Bridgeton Beacon is to go to the Bridgeton Beacon YouTube channel and hit subscribe. When you hit subscribe, we're going to need you to also click the little bell icon so that you actually get alerts when we post new episodes. But this is a great way for you to support the Bridgeton Beacon in lieu of an actual donation or monetary support.